sorry.
Yes, and it's all for you.
Bro, first off, the fact that you and your manager have that is crazy timing. That you like. Anyway, yeah, that was actually wild. Took him to the shed and he just said, "Hey man, it's okay. I just smoked a whole bunch of heroin and look at this dick." I'm like, bro, what kind of job? What establishment are y'all niggas running? This nigga, your boss is a fucking active heroin smoker, and you're nodding off on pills. Took him to the shed and just show him his dick.
Like,
Dirty Dan. Dirty Dan. Dirty Dan. I'm Dirty Dan. I don't know what you mean. I'm Dirty Dan.
It's absolutely amazing.
I'm Dirty Dan.
Whoa, Dirty Dan.
Okay.
Why are you gay?
That's wild. I just started this recording. I don't know if he's gay, but so we're back with another reaction. We've got another guy here that's doing another video confession, and he's he's a pretty sad and lonely guy. He's 29 years old, and he's living in his parents' garage, and he's gonna tell us how he ended up here. Let's see what's going on. Talk to us, bro. What you got going on?
Tory baby isn't racist, but sad where the nigga.
Wow. They're around. All right, yeah. Talk to us, man. How'd you get here?
I'm a 29-year-old loser living in my parents' garage.
Fuck.
You know, it wasn't always like this. The past was really promising, but and then I fell deep into a 35 fentanyl pill a day addiction.
Whoa. Run that back. Run. How many? What, nigga?
But then I fell deep. You know, it wasn't always like this. The past was really promising, but and then I fell deep into a 35 fentanyl pill a day addiction.
35 pill a day? How are you popping 35 pills of fent? How are you doing that and like surviving?
And things stuck around far after then. There is an aftermath, and it does affect you for the rest of your life. So, back in high school, you know, before I started doing drugs, everything was really good. I was getting really good grades.
Tory baby isn't racist, but said what's so wrong with Fent.
In my state to get
A lot. He said, what's his plug if he doesn't leave the house? Nigga just, bro. He probably know one of them pharmaceutical niggas. Or somebody that knows somebody. He looked like he knows somebody that knows somebody.
perfect score on the Latin exam that year. I was really good at school. You know, I never had to do much work because I was good at taking tests.
Cheddar
But
Rob
eventually
224
they started to
says
slip
we
a
were
little
talking
bit.
about awkward sex songs. I was at one of my homies' cribs last Friday, and we were playing this game called Where on the Scale, and this girl that was there gave one of the wildest answers I've ever heard because of how she pronounced it. We were talking about awkward sex songs to baby making songs. This girl picked a song by Music Soulchild, but pronounced his name as Music. I was dead. Mind you, I was the only white dude there. W story, bro. All right.
You know, I got into the weed. My grades started
I
to
don't know why I
slip.
said it like
got
that.
into other stuff, and I
But,
started skipping school.
Yeah, awesome.
And there's just a lot of factors to build up to the point where I am now. So in school, I did really good. Everyone thought I would do really big things, you know, start looking at colleges really early. I went to all the college fairs, all the career fairs. You know, my future was set up and it was looking nice. But ultimately, I fell victim to addiction and all of that went away. So around 18, you know, I was working a job. One of the only jobs I kept long term. I was doing
Tory
hard
Baby
labor at a
says,
trust
hum,
fund.
hum,
You know, just go to work every day,
yo, yo, yo,
get
yo,
your
yo,
shit home like a
People,
normal
people, yeah,
person.
yeah, 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 ha, 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 he, she. See, that's how you would be sounding if you pop like 35 pills a day, bro. I don't feel like you would be that coherent. Or maybe he just got a strong brain.
But, and then I started doing pills at work, and I would only do pills on Saturdays because those were like overtime days and things were way less serious.
Hmm.
But one day I am doing my job. It's a Saturday and I'm starting to nod out a little bit. And I'm like, fuck, I'm tired. I don't know what to do. I can't just go home. I got to get this money. I can't get fired. And so my manager invited me to the little shack and I told him, I took some pills. I'm really tired. And he was like, oh, it's okay, man. I smoked a bunch of heroin before work. And I
Look
haven't
at this
done heroin at
dick!
this point, so.
Yes, and it's all for you.
Bro, first off, the fact that you and your manager have that is crazy timing. That you like anyway. Yeah, that was actually wild. Took him to the shed and he just said, "Hey man, it's okay. I just smoked a whole bunch of heroin and look at this dick." I'm like, bro, what kind of job? What establishment are y'all niggas running? This nigga, your boss is a fucking active heroin smoker, and you're nodding off on pills. Took him to the shed and to show him his dick,
I was like, what the
bro. Yeah, that's
fuck?
wild.
So he goes, you know how I done, and he was like,
That's
oh, it's
wild.
okay, man. I smoked a bunch of heroin before work, and I haven't done
A
heroin
man
at
look
this
at
point.
another man's booty and want to jump in there. It's nasty. It's nasty. Take.
Bro, the timing, bro. Y'all making this nigga story hilarious, and it's not supposed to be a funny story, bro. We're supposed to learn how this nigga is trapped in his mom's garage.
What the fuck? So he goes, you know how I stay awake? And I'm
So
just kind of
R.K.
waiting for
Epstein, he
the
would have
answer. I
loved
don't
this
really
guy.
know what he's gonna say.
Shout out to Diddy, he's
And he goes, I have
diabolical.
some meth if you want some. So
Suck a dick.
he
God
gave me some
damn.
meth at work, my manager, and he got me. I wasn't addicted to meth, but it was like the second time I tried it. So I just did a very little amount. But, drug addicts are so fucked up in addiction. When I only took a little bit, he was like, take more, take more, take more. And I'm like, no, dude, I'm not. I'm not
What?
taking more. I'm not tweaking the fuck out at work. So that's when I started to do drugs
Let
at
me
work and
suck
start
your
to
dick, nigga!
That's not what he started. I hope that's not. That's.
fuck up a little bit. And eventually I hurt myself with that job and I got a few months paid leave, but I didn't end up going back because I got deeper into my drug addiction.
Damn,
And
this nigga got hooked on
since
meth. That's a horrible boss. That nigga, he was already smoking heroin, and it was like, all right, here's some meth. You know what I'm saying? Smoke a little bit. This will give you a pick me up. And he ended up like making you, or not making you, I guess, but like maybe convincing you to smoke some. So you just had a little meth. Now you want more. This nigga just made you a fiend at work, bro.
and I've worked, I don't know, 30 jobs and I'm 29. I have a habit of getting a job, doing really good for a few days, and then self sabotaging and just quitting.
You gotta stop smoking meth at your fucking places of employment, bro. You gotta cut that shit out. You can't be a. I'm not gonna hold you. I, you can't be like an active, like meth smoker and like hold down a regular job, bro.
Poor baby
You
isn't
gotta.
racist but said I have a theory that all meth heads are gay.
Now that I'm thinking about it, almost every meth head I know. Not that I know a lot. Yeah, I think they are gay.
And it's a habit I've had for a long time. and it's really hard.
No, crackhead is different, bro. I'm about to say a crackhead working a job is different. That is possible. I have seen functioning crackheads. I actually used to work with one. She was a really good waiter, and this was when I was working at Applebee's. She was a fire waiter. She was one of the best waiters we had. She was an OG. Oh yeah, she smoked big rock, but she was good. She was a really good worker. You know what I'm saying?
To break. I don't know if it's part of the addiction
Very
cycle,
nice, very polite.
you know, the impulsivity of my bipolar disorder. I don't really know where that comes from. And I know a lot of people are just going to say, just quit being a bitch and do it.
Yeah, literally, nigga. Not dead ass, like, bro. Yeah, I mean, I know it's easier said than done, you know, but yeah, honestly, bro, just quit being a bitch and do it. Should imagine Kaz on track if he hit the pipe, nigga. He would murder people and rip people's skin off, bro. It wouldn't be a pleasant sight to see. This nigga turned into Kratos or something.
And I do it. You know, I'm good for a while, but there's always a point where I just can't mentally take it anymore. And it's not that the jobs are hard. You know, I've never been fired. I'm always good at the job. But
Exactly.
every
You
time
get
shit
it.
starts to go good, it seems like I have to fuck it up and
You
ruin
get it,
it.
Sun Eater.
And it's just really hard to get over that. Um, so after, so this is when I started using drugs really heavily. You know, eventually I got to
You
30
wanna get
plus
high?
fentanyl pills a day, as you've seen in my other videos,
He
and
doesn't
shit
need
was
to.
just really dark. But I'd still try to get jobs. You know, I'd get a job, I'd work until I ran out of drugs, and then once you run out of drugs, you're sick and you can't work. So I'd be
What?
leaving work or
Look at this
waiting in the
dick!
parking lot until someone could bring me drugs.
Yes. And it's all for you.
I'm following this story.
And that's just, you know, there's no way you can keep a job like that. So eventually I would just quit from, I'd quit because I couldn't stay there sick. I'd have to leave to get drugs. And a lot of jobs don't just let you leave.
So that's crazy. So he would stay at a job. I heard 0 words from the story. So we'll hear this. So he would stay at a job and long enough to get money, to get like, you know, the first paycheck or whatever, or a few paychecks. He would stay there long enough for him to have enough money to fuel his addiction. And once he didn't have any money to get any more drugs and he started going through withdrawals, he would quit. It's not funny, but he would quit because he was too sick to actually work the job because he needed drugs. So he would wait to get more drugs to get another job so he could get money for more drugs. I'm just trying to follow this. Sounds like a good worker. His story isn't important. He's sucking dick for meth. Well, you know, he hasn't said that yet, but you know.
So that became a habit. And eventually I went to detox and got clean.
Nice.
And I moved to Spokane,
Yeah.
you know, with some money we had, and I got a job at a hospital as a receptionist, and I did really good at that job.
Okay.
You know, for months I did
Receptionist?
really good at that job. And then something big happened in my family that I
What
didn't
happened?
really know how to deal with.
What, a
You
death?
know, some stuff that brought up past traumatic events for my whole family.
What
And
happened?
it just really
Somebody touched somebody, huh?
affected us all really deeply. So eventually I quit that job too.
For why?
And, you know, for a while I would just do enough to get by. Door dashing.
Yeah, what happened? He didn't tell us the traumatic event that happened. He just said something big happened in my family that brought up some trauma or traumatic events. You didn't say a death. Normally, if you say something big happened or something like, you know, you would say, yeah, I had a death in the family or something. And it was tragic. So what? Whose uncle fucked somebody? Like, give us the details, bro. Like, you already talking to us. You let us know what happened. Hospital. Right. No, and I was about to say, well, he got clean. He was at the rehab center and he detoxed and got clean, and that's how he got the job at the hospital. So I'm pretty sure, you know, he was clean. So yeah, I'm pretty sure they still drug test him.
selling our stuff, whatever we needed to pay rent. But eventually it wasn't enough, and we had to move back with my parents. So the only time I've ever moved out was for maybe, let's see, 9 or 10 months when I was 25. And I ended up right back in my parents, right back in this fucking garage. And it's just, every day.
You're in a garage right now? That don't look like a garage. It looks like a little bedroom. You made it look like a little bedroom, look comfortable. This nigga lying. He just wanted an excuse to quit so he could suck dick. Suck dick for meth. I mean, maybe. Well, let's hear him out. Let's hear him out. Maybe he's going down this spiral of quitting and then getting another job and then getting clean and then getting back on drugs.
I try a little harder, and every day I get a little further. Currently I'm doing prerequisites to
Too
become a
much
peer
lights for a
recovery
garage.
counselor.
I'm gonna say he hooked
And I
that
think
bitch
that could
up.
be really good for me. But there's stuff I have to change about myself fundamentally to be able to succeed. And there are a lot of side effects, even after you're clean. You're not scot free. The addiction takes over. Um,
Nigga,
I still have dreams. I used to have dreams where I would use and then I'd feel bad about it after, and then I'd wake up pissed off. But the dreams have evolved a little bit.
mhm.
Now, I'll be offered drugs in my dreams, and I'll have the wherewithal to turn them down.
Bro, you gotta have different. I don't know how. I, yeah, I don't know. I was about to say you gotta have different dreams, or you gotta get that shit off your mind, bro. Like, cause if you're going to bed, that's just like the cuck nigga. He was going to bed and having nightmares about his wife getting cucked, and he was like, "Well, fuck it. Maybe I just need to see it in reality, and then it won't be so bad." If you're still having dreams of someone offering you drugs, like every night when you go to bed, that's all you see is like, "Here, man, go ahead and go ahead and boot up real quick. You know you want it." Like, you might need to get a little like some type of like extra more mental eval because you can't just keep having that same dream, bro. Oh yeah, I was gonna say in this case maybe, but like I was gonna say maybe you need to like go talk to somebody because he seems like he just once he starts doing something he goes back to like the other shit. Mind you, this is a nigga that was on 35 pills a day of fent, apparently, and didn't die, and still has significant weight on him. So I'm still kind of skeptical about that. I don't know if they was actually giving they don't know what they was giving you, bro. But you're a walking miracle, honestly, if that is true. He should be dead.
Even in my dreams, I can tell, I'm clean. I'm not supposed to be fucking around. But last night, I had a dream where I went to a hotel with my friends and they started doing coke, and I started freaking the fuck out. I went into a panic attack in the dream. I started crying, and I just knew I had to get out of that situation.
Because your friends are doing coke, you started freaking out. Nigga, just remove yourself. You don't gotta do all of that. Like, just just walk away. Just like, or just like, oh yeah, that's cool. If y'all niggas is skiing up, that's cool. I'm not partaking, but damn, nigga, your dreams sound all horrible. It's just like you're always in a scenario where people are doing drugs or offering you drugs.
And there's just so much effects that stick around even after you're clean. The anxiety. What happens if I relapse? Well, I'll die if I relapse on fentanyl. You will die. It's not worth it. So that keeps me clean. But there are other things like I don't know. I should probably go to therapy or something because some
It's
stuff
literally
might
what I
just
said
keep getting
earlier.
around in my brain. It's like PTSD almost. I think back to times, bad times, good times, just times where I was using, and it's almost like you can taste the drug in your mouth or you can feel the coke in your nose. And it's just really, It's really fucked up. It doesn't feel good. And there's a lot of things that I wish I could have changed in the past.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's time to start changing for the future. And, I didn't want to be a 29-year-old loser living in my parents' garage, but that's just kind of how it happened. But luckily, it's never too late. I am turning things around. I am doing a lot better now. I should probably get some help for the things that I can't handle.
Yeah, you should definitely, not probably, you should definitely seek some professional therapy and have an actual mental eval to help with those dreams. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they could prescribe something for you, like some CBD or some shit, something to, relax your fucking neural impulses in your brain that's firing off, that keeps playing off this same fucking scenario where you're around drugs all the time. If you really want to be clean, you got to get that shit out of your mind, bro. Yeah, and definitely, yeah, definitely stop doing drugs for sure. I swear, I swear it'd be the least expecting white, right? This nigga look like he should be like fucking co-founder of Microsoft or something. You know what I'm saying? Like some type of big tech wizard, like one of the niggas that work on fucking GTA or something. He looked like a Rockstar employee. No, this nigga is a 29-year-old ex fent, meth, coke, heroin, damn near everything user. Definitely a PlayStation employee. You know what I'm saying? He looked like he work in tech for sure.
But for now, upwards, upwards and onwards. As long as you're doing better than yesterday, I think you're doing pretty good. And compared to where I was at,
Yeah, that's true.
4 years ago, strung out, lying to everyone I knew, stealing, fucking, just things like that.
Worked
Looking
at
back at
GameStop at
moments, seeing
least
where I'm at
once.
now,
Definitely
I
a
used to pray
manager.
for this life. I used to wish that I could make this happen. And especially with the YouTube stuff, like I can't.
Or the electronic department when you go to like a Walmart or a Target or some shit. You go to any of those places and you gotta ask for the person to open up the door, the little glass door, so you can get the controller or whatever the fuck you're trying to get. He definitely one of the niggas that got all the badges. You know what I'm saying? All the shits to open up any glass case for you. Radio Shack. Oh yeah, Radio Shack for sure.
Believe. I can't even believe this happened still. And I know 10,000 subs isn't anything crazy, but to me, that's like, that many people actually give a fuck about what I have to say. No
W
one ever
ten
gave a
thousand
fuck
subs,
about
my
what I
boy.
have to say. So thank you guys for the support. This is crazy. And I just want to kind of give you a cautionary
Nice.
tale. I wasted my 20s. I wasted my 20s getting high, and even after I got clean, I wasted my 20s. I have $0 in savings.
Damn.
I have nothing to show for anything.
Damn.
I quit a job 3 days after I get it,
Damn.
but I always get a new job.
Damn.
And every time I stay a little longer, but I'm still figuring out how
How
to
do you
cope
keep
with
getting
life.
employed though?
4 years later, you think you'd have it figured out, but every day I'm learning new things, new coping mechanisms, ways to kind of help myself out of this hole. And in addiction,
Where do you live in this economy where you can keep getting fired and get another job? He's white, duh. And look at him. That's true. That's true. But I'm just like, damn, bro. In this economy, where the fuck can you keep getting fired from and rehire? Well, not rehired, but like you just get a job like this. It seems like, nigga, how do you do that? It'd be hard as fuck to find a job. Finding a job is like the hardest. Nigga said definitely Nashville. Man, I'm like, where do you live? Fucking Utah? North Dakota? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how do you keep finding employment so easily?
we're wrecking balls. We destroy everything in our path, and we dig ourselves so deep in a hole that it feels like it's impossible to get out of. And that's kind of where I'm at now. I'm slowly climbing out of the hole, and I feel like, I don't know if I'll ever make it completely out of the hole, but things are getting better, you know, um, and I do know that things will be better one day. And I've been consistently doing better every
You
day.
probably got government checks.
And I think that it's really important to look back at where you were and
Definitely
You
got
know,
some break
respect the
coming in.
achievements that you've done. Take where you are at now and appreciate that shit. You know, you have to appreciate the little things, especially in sobriety. Um, there's a lot of stuff that you won't know how to handle. You know, I've had more friends die since I've been clean and I haven't used, but that was my main trigger when I was doing drugs and relapsing was
Yeah.
people dying. You know, I first time I used drugs was at a funeral. Second time I relapsed was right after a friend's funeral. And just things like that you have to learn how to deal
Bro,
with and
that's
how to cope
crazy.
with. And if you
That's
need
crazy
professional help,
timing.
you should get it.
Welcome in.
You know, I should get professional help. You know, I'm working my way towards that. But at the same time, therapy isn't for everyone. You know, I feel like having a conversation with someone,
But therapy might be for you, my nigga, because you haven't tried this at a funeral where, yeah, I'm about to say he relapsed at a funeral. Yeah. Yeah. I'm about to say it may not be for everybody, but if you've never tried, you'll never know. And you've never tried. So this might be the case where you should just go ahead and, like the drugs people hand you, just give it a try. I know that's kind of fucked up, but just go ahead. It might actually do you some damn good. Like real shit. All jokes aside.
don't know how much that will help me. You know, it helps me just to talk and have someone not reply and just to get it out there. I'm not looking for someone to reassure me or tell me what I need or anything like that. I'm just looking to like get it out there, you know, let the people hear it, show you guys there is a way out. And even though you might be a 29-year-old loser living in your parents' garage, you can come back from that. You know, life is looking a lot better these days. Opportunities are opening up. I'm doing the pre-recs for the peer recovery specialist, and I think that would be a really good job for me. You know, just helping people with what I went through. That's also the reason I started this channel. I just wanted to help people with what I went through and show them that there is a way out. But the after effects of addiction are real and they take a long time to get away from. You know, I spent years, I don't know, 10 years ruining my life. And, you know, who knows how long it'll take to get perfect again. If it ever does. You know, I don't know if I'm capable of living a normal life. You know, pretty soon we're going to move out of here, but it's just, you know, it's so fucked up. You don't realize when you're in the moment how much this will affect the rest of your life. And it really, really does. You know, you think you get clean and it'll be done and you're better now. But it never, you know, it never gets fully better. It gets easier, but you have to deal with the trauma and everything you put yourself through during your addiction.
True.
And it's just it's really hard to look at yourself and be like, you're fucking up. And it's really hard to take accountability for things that are your fault. But accountability is important. You know, it's accountability is health.
But these things are your fault. You know, you're in this situation solely because of your addiction. Just so yeah, these things are your fault. So not saying beat yourself up about it, but definitely you know, don't be in denial and think it's all something else or an outside force. But I hear you.
And just because you're clean doesn't mean you're healthy. You have to put in the work. You know, you have to do what you need to do to get a better life. And I know 12 steps help some people. Um, NA, AA, things like that help
Is it
people. God
raining
helps
again?
people. You know, religion. But for me, I'm still kind of trying to figure it out what it is that will help me completely. You know, I've been exploring different things since I've gotten clean, and I
Have you explored therapy? I haven't heard him say that yet.
just haven't landed on one thing yet. But you know, that's the thing about addiction is there is no one size fits all. You know, all these doctors and stuff want to tell you what you need, but they don't know what it's like. You know, you know what you need, but sometimes you need help from an outside perspective. You know, you're not always able to see things clearly with your own situation. You know, sometimes you
Okay,
need someone
brother.
who's willing to take a step back, see how things are in your life for you, and just look at it objectively. Because as long as you're looking at your own life, it'll never be objective. you are biased towards yourself, and that's just something you can't escape. So accept help from people. Get the outside perspective if you need to, and just start working on your life now. I wasted my 20s getting high, and the rest of my 20s just fucking around, wasting money, doing stupid shit, traveling. And it's just traveling, I mean, traveling by traveling in state, across the state. But it costs money still, especially when you don't have that much money. And there's just so many things I wish I could have done different. But honestly, I don't know if I would have, because maybe we wouldn't be here today. And I just wanted to give you guys this story.
Thank you for the story. And I didn't mean to yawn about, in the like towards the end, but I'm not gonna lie, bro. It was kind of dragging. It's a very, very monotone. Like, I'm not gonna lie, bro. It's like it almost felt like when I have to go to work and you have to watch those videos or seminars or whatever, and they're like online. So you gotta just like sit there and look at the laptop or the fucking laptop or the fucking iPad and just sit there and you can't skip it. You have to watch the whole bullshit and it's just somebody just talking about some boring shit and it's in the most monotone is so it makes me want to go to bed. But that was the story. So he that's how he ended up in his mom's garage. Well, his parents' garage at 29. It's drug addiction and he is apparently he's doing a lot better. He's got over 10,000 subs. Actually, he's doing a lot better. He's doing way better than that now. This was a month ago. So yeah, he's doing a lot better. But this is Lucy Lurch. But yeah, moral of the story, kids: just don't do drugs unless it's the fun drugs. The ones that you know what? Just don't do drugs. Especially if you have addictive personality. Just, eat your vegetables, drink your water, you know what I'm saying? Exercise and just stay away from the drugs. And you'll be successful. You won't be 29 years old living in your mom's garage. All right. I had to try to make that, I had to end that on a somewhat positive note. I'm like, bro, this is for YouTube. Jesus.